Welcome to the Brett Davis Podcast.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Brett Davis coming to you from the IQ Podcast Studio in Coronado, California. In case people don't know where Coronado's at, I am I'm here with a friend, but he's also a customer, client, a community elf
A
that
little
helps
bit of
me
everything.
go around and look for people that are in need. But also, we're going to talk a little bit about his life and how he became CEO of Indian Motorcycle of San Diego.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Brett. Good to be back.
It's good. It's almost like you were never gone.
I know. I mean, it's been a interesting last couple of years, but we started all of this before COVID even started. We got to know each other, and it's time's gone by pretty fast.
It's too fast. And look at everything that's happened since we've known each other. We went through COVID. We went through areas where there was supply issues for
Yes.
motorcycles, parts. What else?
Everything.
Employees.
Employee issues. With the stimulus, it was hard to get people to stay on. Inventory issues were a nightmare, but like everything, people just figure out a way to get it done and come out the other side in a better place.
And you did. And you were very thoughtful to so many people. Your employees were, even when you were shut down,
Yes.
you still took care of them.
Yeah, no, I promised all of them that regardless of what happened, this was before any ideas of stimulus money or anything, PPP money. I promised them all, I'm going to guarantee you 40 hours a week. I didn't want to lose people. It was a difficult time for a lot of people. And so we just tried to do the right thing and the responsible thing as a business.
And I want to thank you because we had nothing coming in at that time. We were doing work, but it was a challenging time. And you graciously sent a check to us to help us out. And I appreciate that.
Well, it always comes around. So I've benefited from that as well. And that's what true partnerships are about. It's about helping each other out in different times, but in the end, both sides come out with a lot of value of it. And that's kind of been what our friendship and relationship's been like.
It is. I look forward to some of the great things we're going to do together.
We got a lot of good ideas.
Sarah, what do you think? That's going to be pretty cool, right? Get to do some great things with the man, the myth here, right?
Well, I also like we think a lot alike, and
That's kind of scary.
Always circles back to how can we better the community and do more for the community. And you guys are very responsible when it comes to giving back, and that lines up a lot with what we do. And it's great when we partner on things because, again, in the end, it end up benefiting the community. It benefits people, and it helps make change.
It does. And right now, more than any other time in my lifetime, I thought COVID was the pinnacle, but I'm finding that it's not. It's the aftermath.
Yes.
It's the depression. It's that people are just not, the work ethic is not the same.
No.
And of course, if you're depressed and you're not feeling your best, how are you going to be your best at work?
It's interesting times right now. And, it takes a lot more to motivate people and get people to understand the right ways to do things. In the end, I always circle back hard work and good ethics, and you can get a lot accomplished in this life. But it's interesting on how some of these people are coming up and the mindsets they have and how you have to manage that as an employer.
I've had people say that bosses that own companies, that their employees sometimes are overly sensitive and they take things the wrong way.
They do. My thing is, and we had this discussion this morning, we had a team meeting, and the thing I always try to tell people is you spend more time at your job than you do anywhere in your entire life. And what happens at your job impacts the rest of your life and the people in your life. And so if you don't love what you're doing every day when you go to work, that impacts you and it impacts people in your lives negatively. And so I always say, if you're not happy, let's figure out how we make you happy. And so people that just take jobs for money or for whatever other reasons, if you're not happy, you're not going to enjoy it. So we don't deal with a lot of the sensitivity issues because we all treat each other as if we're family and as if we're teammates. And because we have that mindset and everybody lives it out, you can have tougher conversations with people and it not be sensitive. But there's a lot of sensitivity out there in the world right now.
I think personally, we need to be harder.
We do
harder with love, tough love.
Yeah, and
I think tough love is we're not mean or uncaring,
and just constructive criticism. It's hard to even give that now. We grew up in areas where when we came up, you got lots of tough love. I mean, there was
Oh
no
yeah.
sugarcoating it.
No.
And nowadays you try to do that and sometimes people just shut down. So it's hard to find that right balance. And I find myself erring on the softer side, and that's not the right answer. Being too hard is not the right answer. And so finding that happy medium is not an easy thing to do in today's world.
No, it's not. So let's find out from because I never asked you this before. How did Indian Motorcycle come across on your radar? How did that all fall into place?
It's a pretty interesting story and not one that I had a pre-plan for, an idea for.
Interesting.
I always knew I wanted to do my own business. I just didn't know what it would be. And back in 2015, I got some rough health news, and I had to have open heart surgery, and it was pretty serious. From the time we found out about it to the time I had surgery was just literally a couple of months. And, I came out of that, and it impacted me in ways I'd never even imagined it would impact me. I went through a lot of the typical side effects you have afterwards. I had some depression. I had some just ideas and thoughts on, what am I doing with my life? And you realize when you go through something like that, live your life to an extent. And so I had always rode motorcycles growing up, and I put them away when I had kids and I had a career, and I decided to start riding again. And, the experience from buying it to riding it just wasn't a great one. I was never given the time of the day because of how I looked. I didn't necessarily fit the part. Just watching how they treated others. They won't even talk to women in some shops. And just said, wow, this industry doesn't need to be like this. It was filling a void in my life, a very good one, allowing me to get out and ride and do something on my own. And it was aspirational for me to be able to ride a motorcycle again, but the experience didn't feel that way. And so I'd kind of thought, in the back of my head, maybe this is something I would do. Needless to say, I bought 3 or 4 different motorcycles along the way, and they were all the wrong bikes for me because they didn't get a chance to take a chance to get to know me, know who I was, what
Was it
kind of.
were they speed? Was it a speed thing?
It was more of a, "This is what I have more inventory of. Let me sell you
Oh,
this kinda bike, whether it's the right one for you." And kinda the kicker for me was I was riding a different brand. I kept seeing the Indian motorcycle brand as I was riding around, and when I was out of town with my family, I rented one. Fell in love with it. I mean, just so much about the bike once you get on it and you ride it, it's such a different experience. Came back, traded in what I had, bought an Indian from a local Indian motorcycle dealer, and the experience wasn't good again.
with the person that sold the bike to you?
Yes, I mean, it was just they were shuffling me around to one of their other brands, and even my picture with the brand new Indian motorcycle was taken with a sign in the back of another brand. And so I just said, "Look, this is a really good brand that seems to get it and seems to get today's consumer and about customer experience." And so I started the idea of opening up a shop, and, long and short of it, I'm 5 years into it now, and, it all started because of something that happened in my life that got me back to riding again, and I just realized there was such a big void in the community, and we set out with a goal to change the industry for the better, and
And now
change.
you're number 2 in your market.
Yes, and we've won best motorcycle dealership in San Diego 4 out of the last 5 years. We've only been in
Congratulations.
business. Thank you. We've only been in business for 5 years, and it speaks to everything that we try to do. We wanted to make this about the experience, make it a great customer experience, make you feel like you're a part of our family because you are, and then hopefully create a nice little community around it. And I want to say the team has done a phenomenal job. And in this industry, people know what they've always known. They don't like to make change. And the fact that they've been able to change the way they approach the customer and how they do business just speaks volumes about the team. And so they're the ones that deserve all the credit for any awards or anything else we get. But we feel we have changed the industry. We've watched other dealers change the way they do things, change the way they approach customers. And you still see some deals that make you scratch your head about why they would ever do this to a customer, but those are less and less now, and the experience and at the end of the day, what the customer is getting out of it is much better, and we feel we've had a part of that.
How much has the riding experience and the clubs expanded in your last 5 years of being involved with Indian
Quite a bit.
Motorcycle?
In fact, when I started, there was a mandate by corporate that your riding clubs all had to be members had to ride an Indian motorcycle? And I said, absolutely not. I'm not here just for this small subset of community. I'm here for the entire motorcycle community. So I actually ignored that, and I allowed all brands. And I don't care what you ride. You come in my store, you're treated the same way as anybody else is riding, no matter what it is. And so actually this year corporate changed their mindset, and now they are allowing all other bikes because it has grown significantly. But the thing is, again, you're here for the community. You're selling bikes to the community. You're creating curated rides for the community. But the one nice thing I really love about my riding group that we have, and I feel like we have one of the best out there, is they really focus on safety, new riders and female riders, and making people feel comfortable in what they're doing. And so we'll do things like we'll do safety seminars, or we'll do safe riding gear seminars, and we'll only allow women in there, or we will only allow first time riders in there, and the instructors are the same way. And that way they feel like they can ask questions and not feel intimidated. And so we try to do little things like that. But the riding groups have really grown and gotten big here in Southern California, and it's an amazing experience to get out and enjoy some of the beautiful areas we have in San Diego and Southern California, and do it with a group of like-minded people who are enjoying themselves. It's a really an amazing experience, and watching it grow has been just absolutely just heartwarming to me.
One thing I can tell you, and I think Sarah would attest to this, is that when you walk into Indian Motorcycle, even if you don't ride a bike, there's something about the energy,
Yeah.
something about the bikes because they're so beautiful. The clothing is so classy. Everybody there is so nice. It's very difficult to leave.
Well, we hear that all the time, and when we set it up, we were hoping it would be an experiential center, and people would enjoy it from that aspect. But the amount of times I hear from people saying, "Hey, this is my new man cave," and this
Right.
is where I like to hang out, and that's what we want. I mean, yeah, it's great to sell people a bike or product, but it's even better to get to hang out with you and just enjoy your experiences that you're having, and just watch people grow. I mean, I've seen so many people who are first time riders, never been on a bike before. They're now on their third motorcycle, and they're just enjoying it, and their life has changed significantly. And so it's fun to watch that happen, but that's all part of the experience.
So for people that want to learn how to ride a motorcycle, what would you tell them to do?
So I don't care how experienced you are or inexperienced you are. The first thing that I would say is do a lot of research, because you can find out a lot online as far as like how to ride, the right safety, what type of bikes or type of riding you might be doing. Absolutely critical that you take one of these safety courses. Again, even if you're a seasoned rider, and I knew how to ride, and I still took one of these courses because it gives you a refresher. It gives you confidence in riding. It allows you to be able to not have to take the driving test at the DMV. And then you're around a lot of people who are doing exactly what you're doing. So those are the two most critical, is just do a lot of research. More importantly, absolutely take the safety course, and then just get yourself around people that can help you get better. The amount of times I've taken people to a parking lot and had them ride around for 30 minutes on a bike just in circles does wonders for you. But there's a lot you can learn from the safety courses like Pacific Safety Center and some of these others that I don't recommend. I say it should be a requirement.
Okay. So let's say you want to take the class. You probably should take the class first, or should you get the bike first?
So I did the opposite. I bought my bike first, and it sat at the dealership for 3 weeks until
Oh,
I could take the course, until I had got the courage up to ride at home. But yes, the best thing to do is to take the class first, get your feet wet with it, understand what it is you want, because most people don't know. You have an idea of what type of motorcycle you might want, or the type of riding you might want, and then you just don't have any clue until you get there. For instance, a big mistake a lot of people make is they see a bike they like, but they don't even look at the seat height on it. And so they may end up wanting and buying a bike that's too tall for them, and their feet don't even touch the ground. Well, that's a safety issue. And then that becomes a confidence issue. And then you're just not riding anymore. So do a lot of research, but the class is first and foremost, I would suggest you do.
so you don't need the bike to take the class.
No, they provide them. And so that's the beauty
Oh,
of it.
really?
Yeah. So they provide all the bikes for you. They
See, I
provide
didn't know
everything.
this is something I didn't know.
Yeah, the only thing you have to do is, and they'll usually provide you helmets, jackets, and stuff, but most people will bring their own. They're typically over a 2 to 4 day time frame. Some of it's classroom, a lot of it's writing, and they teach you a lot of really important basics. But again, more important than anything is it gives you confidence. It gets
Oh
you
yeah,
out there. They teach you about clutching. And if you drop the bike, you're not dropping your bike.
dropping their
You're
bike.
dropping their bike.
So how much does that class cost?
They typically run, and I haven't looked at the pricing lately, but, they can run anywhere between $400 and $600, but, I mean, the amount of value you pack in
Oh,
that price and what it gives you from not only a confidence perspective, but just an overall safety and well-being perspective for yourself, it's worth its weight in gold, in my
I
opinion.
can't believe because we've talked about the class before.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they had the bikes already.
Yeah. No, you don't have
I can't believe that I didn't know that.
yeah, you could never have ridden before, you don't even have, any. You may not have even ever thrown your leg over a motorcycle, and you can just go there and hop on one of theirs, take the class. In fact, my girlfriend just recently did it and passed it, and she's working on getting her license. So,
Okay. So there you go. That's why I like talking with Tim because I always learn something new from him every time we talk. There's always that's why I like the energy we have together when
yeah,
we talk.
thank you.
So we've also talked about what is it about India and your facility because it's like a home to you.
Yes,
It's like your home. You spend a lot of time there.
I do.
What are you proud? What are you the most proud of when you walk into that facility?
I'm most proud of, a couple of things. First off is my team. The team I work with is just fantastic, starting from Sarah all the way down. Everybody.
Sarah's still there?
She is.
How many years? She's been there since the beginning, hasn't she?
No, she came on in, during COVID, and, the impacts she's made has
What a
just
nice
been significant.
what a nice person.
100%. Like, people come there to see her. I mean,
Sh
they drive 200 miles to come see her, and pass 3 other dealers to see her, but,
Wow.
the the way people have embraced what we're doing and just they enjoy coming to work every day, they enjoy being a part of the process, and then just seeing that translate to our customers. And our customers come in every day, and it's as if they're an employee there. It's as if they've been there from the beginning from us. That's just how they get treated. So that's one thing. But for me personally, one of the biggest impacts is what we've been able to do in the community and the things that we've been able to partner with you guys with to give back in the community. I truly believe every business has a responsibility to give back to the community. What that might look like or what that might be can be very different, whether it's monetary, whether it's just, your time. But I do truly believe they have a responsibility to do that. And we've made some pretty big impacts getting a chance to do it, even with things that may not seem huge to people, but like, the pet adoption events that we've done together, we've set records on the number of pets that have been adopted. And that
You know,
helps.
just to let you know, I feel like we it's terrible, and I know we did it. I feel like we benefited more from that pet
100%.
adoption.
Yeah, because we both walked away with dogs.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right off the bat, Poe is with me every moment.
Yeah.
He goes in the car with me. He always is at home. He's very active. I mean, Sarah was always kind of like didn't want to get too close to him because she didn't want to get hair on her. But now that's like, but they have a healing just and that's a connection that motorcycles have as well, from what I
You're
understand.
right.
There's a healing process that goes when you ride a motorcycle. It clears your mind, and for people that are feeling down, it probably helps lift them up.
It's one of the big reasons a lot of people ride, and they call it wind therapy, and it's absolutely true. And you get out there, and you may be having the worst day of your life, and you jump on your bike, and you maybe even ride only 20 minutes with it, but you get that experience, and it clears your head, puts you in a good place, and then you just forget about the troubles that you've had. And so we're actually seeing that being mimicked even with the e-bikes. They're
Really.
electric bikes that we sell. They can go upwards of 30, 35 miles an hour. And even we're hearing people talk about that saying, yeah, I get this wind therapy thing now because I can feel it on the bike.
So I'm going to talk about the e-bikes in a sec. The dogs have or cats. I think dogs are a little bit different. Cats are a little kind of like don't touch me.
Yeah.
Dogs are a little bit more like they're just happy to see you.
Yeah.
And cats are a little bit more kind of reclusive. But they have that effect when you pet them. It seems like it puts you in a state to where you're more relaxed,
It does.
happier. you know, and we talk about all these medications and things in the world that we need more of, but maybe we
Sometimes
need
just a dog.
maybe the pet, or maybe even riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, and I don't want to say anything bad about breeders. I've got family members that breed dogs and stuff, but there's something about adopting a puppy or a dog or any type of animal that's coming from a shelter. They really have this impact that is really special, that you just don't get with other animals that you maybe buy from somebody. It's almost like they know they've been rescued, and a lot of times they end up rescuing you,
Yeah.
right? And so I had a dog I adopted one time, Brody. He was just a phenomenal dog, and people always said, "Wow, you rescued that dog and you saved his life." And I'm like, it's actually quite the opposite. I was actually in a very difficult time in my life. My mom was sick, and he helped me through so much. And so they end up rescuing you more than you end up rescuing them. And so I can't say enough about the experiences we've had with the adoption, and I'm looking forward to the one we have coming up in December.
Yeah, that's right before Christmas, right?
I think we talked about somewhere around
We
the
bump,
Saturday, third Saturday or
we
second
we
Saturday,
bumped
but
it up, right, a little
yeah,
bit. So I'm excited about that too, and I know it's going to be a great adoption,
yeah.
and maybe it'll be the best one we've done yet.
Well, my problem is gonna be controlling me, right? Like, it's not wanting to take all of them home and adopt them all, and so I've gotta make sure I get myself in the right frame of mind that I can't have another pet.
So I had no at our the last one the big one that we did, where we just broke records that
Yeah.
day. I wanted that 300. I think it was a 300-pound turtle that was there.
Yeah, that thing was ginormous.
It was like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I had never seen a 300-pound turtle, and I wanted to take this turtle home. I mean, I thought it was the coolest. Can you imagine bringing friends home and they're like, "Oh my God, look at that turtle!" And you're like, "What turtle?"
Don't those things live forever, though?
Yeah, they're like ex-wives. Sorry,
I won't comment on
I'm gonna
that
get
one.
in trouble.
Yeah.
No, they live forever, and they're really kind of low maintenance,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. I mean, what do you don't walk a turtle, and they just kinda do their own
Well,
thing.
I think I think it would be kind of cool to get a leash and walk that turtle around the neighborhood.
But he'd be walking you at
Well,
300 pounds.
I want I
Step on him.
no, I imagine riding. Imagine riding
You could
this thing
ride
down.
it.
Yeah,
Put a cowboy hat on,
right.
little lasso around
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I saw that.
Be like on Yellowstone.
So the other thing you mentioned is e-bikes.
Yeah.
So I feel like IQ Podcast was at the right time, at the right place at the right time for podcast. I have to say, when I first started working with you, the e-bike, I don't think was it where
No,
it's at right now.
it wasn't. I got really lucky. I saw some trends happening in the marketplace with e-bikes, and I started doing more research on it, and I was like, wow, these things are going to take off. And then I saw the benefits of how they could help from the motorcycle side. And so I hooked up with a brand called Super 73. We happened to be at an event together at Miramar, instructing safety to all of the young men and women at Miramar. And we got to talking, and they had a lot of the same customer service and customer experience approach that we had. So I took a flyer. I was one of their first dealers, if not the first dealer, and that brand just blew up and did very well. And we've been a part of that, and we've grown with them, and we've brought other e-bike brands in. And for me, it's not necessarily about the products we sell as much as it is, are we adding value to the community? Are we giving people what they want? And e-bikes has been a big one. I will tell you, I'm a little concerned about some of the lack of safety and some of the lack of training that's going on, because you see some of these kids and what they do, and it just makes me a little nervous, because I don't think a lot of people know you cannot ride e-bikes, or majority of e-bikes on sidewalks. They have to be on streets.
Mhm.
And you got a 5, 10-year-old kid on the street riding an e-bike. They've never taken any kind of DMV courses or anything to understand even just like the basic.
Just hopped on like a regular bicycle.
Yeah, they just jump on and go. But so I hope that aspect gets solved, and we're trying to do some things to help it. But man, it's a joy to watch. And I tell people all the time, do not get on an e-bike unless you're prepared to buy it, because the minute you get on it and you hit
Sold.
that throttle, you're going to want to buy the thing. And there's so much fun for just like hopping on if I need to just run to the grocery store and grab something quick, or maybe I want to go grab a bite to eat. But they go 35, 45, 55 miles of range. So a lot of people commute on them. And so they've been a lot of fun to sell. And I really enjoy doing it, especially when you get a younger child in there that gets their first e-bike and just watching that experience of them riding it and buying it and just seeing that happiness. You know, you can't put a price tag on that.
Well, Coronado is a huge e-bike
Yeah.
consumer, and I can't believe that just since we've been here, I've watched how it's just blown up.
It's blowing up a lot of brands out there now, and so you've got to be picky and choosy about which brands you go with. And then just more importantly, pay attention to kind of parts and warranty. So a lot of these brands grew really fast and focused on sales. None of them really thought about warranty and parts issues. And so if you happen to have any problems with it, you want to make sure you're with a brand that's going to be able to support you long term with it. But the brands we carry, we all feel confident that they're the right brands long term for people, and they offer a nice mix to people. But I get as excited, if not more excited, about e-bikes as I do motorcycles.
We're excited to be doing this podcast and working with you, and looking to do more shows.
Yes.
And possibly do the show, of course, at your dealership, the
Yeah.
Indian Motorcycle of San Diego. But topics that you might want to come up with and things that you want to share with the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what this is going to be about. This is not a sales tool or anything else. This is about how do we make the community and how we make the experience better for others. And that will also probably having others do the show as well, and maybe
Sure.
bringing in some
Guests.
third parties, guests, and so forth, and doing whatever we can do to make sure that at the end of the day, our community feels the value from this and they feel like they've gained something from it, because that's what the goal is at the end of the day. And honestly, I really enjoy it. It's just fun to hang out with you and chat.
Well, it's really great to chat and talk with you because, like I said, there's always something new
Yeah.
that you educate all of us about. And you're a great guy, and you have a big heart, and you care about San Diego, and you care about our military.
Yes.
And one thing we do agree with, and I have some shows. Recently, I had a gentleman on that lost both legs,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you had a chance to see that show. And is it Big Country? Is his name? His name's Big Country.
Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, and this is what I love about Polaris and the Indian motorcycle brand is they're very much supportive of our military and giving back to those who sacrifice so much for us. And I love that you think the same way and are that way, because there can't be enough awareness out there of how much we can be doing a better job and doing more for them. And so, to the extent that this can help aid that, that'd be a wonderful thing.
Well, look forward to working on that group of people, the military we love, and we love our law enforcement.
Yes,
So
100%.
those two groups, I think we're going to be able to make a huge impact. And thank you for your time today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I always enjoy this, and I'm looking forward to doing these.
This is his show, by the way. You may see him sitting on the other side, but actually we're getting away from the desk. We're going to go more corporate, less corporate, and more kind of like brick and metal and steel and
I
bikes.
love that
and
industrial look.
industrial.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. I appreciate you and all you do for us and all you do for the community. It's really impactful.
Well, you make me better.
I
The pet
I'd have to throw that back at you.
The pet adoption that you came up with, that was your idea. And I think that I saw the looks on everybody's face when we did that. And there was so much happiness and so much
Yeah.
joy. And it was the gift that kept giving even after, because if you got a pet and you took them home.
You got a great experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, you take care. You're going to be hearing more about
Thank you.
what Indian Motorcycle of San Diego is doing in the community. We're just scratching the surface. There's some big things coming. And you're going to be surprised.
Have a good day, everybody.
Everybody take care.